It's Friday, which means that the week is wrapping up, but that doesn't mean that there's still not video game news to talk about, because there's two interesting stories floating around the internet that I definitely want to talk about. First off, let's talk about some PS5 leaks. A picture has been leaked onto the internet, and a lot of people are running with this picture. Is this a dev kit for the PS5? Is this what the PS5 is going to look like? And there's new information sort of confirming what these rumors were saying about the PS5 leak, so I definitely want to talk about that. And then, of course, we have a potential Nintendo Direct coming in the month of September. There's been a lot of evidence, and now there's even more evidence of this Nintendo Direct, and is one of those games going to be Super Mario Sunshine? A lot of people seem to think so, and I definitely want to explore that topic as well. So what's going on with the PS5? What's up with this Nintendo Direct? And is Nintendo bringing Super Mario Sunshine to the Nintendo Switch? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my god, it's Stevie Richards! So first off, let us talk about the PS5 rumor mill. Of course, a couple days ago on the channel, we talked about the PS5 because obviously the PS5 is coming, and Sony has been pretty quiet about what this system is going to do. There hasn't been any announcements in 2019, and many people aren't expecting there to be any announcement in 2019 of the PS5. But we did get some rumors coming out of the PS5. One of those rumors being that Ghost of Tsushima is actually potentially being moved to the PS5 as well. Obviously, there are still PS4 games coming out like The Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, but a lot of people are thinking that Ghost of Tsushima could be having some developmental problems on the PS4 and is being moved to the PS5. We also have the rumor that there's going to be a big PS5 event in the month of February 2020 to pretty much showcase what the PlayStation 5 is going to be all about. Show off the system, show off the controller, show off what games are going to be available for the system, and pretty much kick things into gear for Sony's next generation console. Recently, there's been a picture floating around the internet, and a lot of people have been reporting on this as potentially what the PS5 is going to look like, or a potential PS5 dev kit. Now this picture itself looks, I don't know man, it looks pretty damn weird. When you look at it, it looks more like a cooling system for your house, more so than a video game console. So I'm definitely of the mindset that this is more than likely a developer's kit and not what the actual final product will look like. A lot of developers' kits for these systems end up looking nothing like what the actual final product is, so I definitely think that if anything, this is a dev kit. Now what's interesting is we actually had a confirmation that some developers already have a PlayStation 5 dev kit, and it looks like that's probably what the dev kit is actually going to look like if you're a company that is getting one of these kits. Someone from Codemasters actually tweeted out, "It's a dev kit. We have some in the office," when replying to a story about the PlayStation 5 dev kit, or maybe even the console itself, pretty much confirming that this was a dev kit. Now, since then, that tweet has actually been removed, but of course this is the internet and nothing ever really gets removed. So we pretty much have confirmation that this is what the dev kit is going to look like. Now, why does it have so many fans on it? Obviously, the PlayStation 5 is going to be a very powerful system. It looks like Sony will be targeting the hardcore gamer with the PS5 due to comments that they've made themselves. So I'm very curious to see how this all plays out. Obviously, I don't think the system is going to look anything like this because, I don't know, that would just be absolutely silly, but it's definitely time to start talking about the PlayStation 5. I think leading up to 2020, we're going to start getting more and more rumors about games and potential things coming to the system, and it's definitely time for Sony to start talking about this system. It's going to be very interesting to see how they respond after the success of the PS4. You got to remember, the last time Sony was this successful was with the PS2, and the transition to the PlayStation 3 was a bit rocky to say the least. I think Sony probably learned from their mistakes though, and I'm definitely looking forward to the PS5. Honestly, it's going to be a day one purchase for me. As I talk about video games on this channel, it's kind of what I do, but let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this dev kit, and if you're a developer yourself, why the hell does it have so many fans on it? But really, the reason you're probably here watching this video is to talk about this Nintendo Direct and the potential of Super Mario Sunshine. Now, you might remember a few days ago on the channel, we talked about some rumors going around that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct. If you look at the timeline of when Nintendo does their Nintendo Directs, they pretty much do one every time in September. It's just sort of a way for them to talk about their holiday lineup and the start of the next year. Of course, Nintendo also likes to do Nintendo Directs after indie presentations, and we just had that Indie World presentation earlier this week on Monday. So chronologically, it makes sense, but I don't think that's quite enough to go on. We also talked about how some new SKUs popped up in GameStop's system, basically saying that there's some new games going to be announced that will be available for pre-order. So that sort of gave it a little bit more fire. It really gave sort of a reason to talk about it. Well, last night, it was actually discovered that even more SKUs were added to GameStop's system for the Nintendo Switch. So now, a lot of people are expecting this Nintendo Direct in the month of September, myself included. Of course, though, you have to talk about what are these games going to actually be. be. Did Nintendo tease one of these games though? I'm not quite sure, but it's something that we're going to talk about. Yesterday, Nintendo posted a tweet that pretty much has the internet going wild. Even Mario needs a little summer vacation. No matter where your summer odyssey took you, we hope it was filled with sunshine. So obviously this was a very tongue-in-cheek comment from Nintendo talking about Super Mario Odyssey, using the word Odyssey in there, but the last part of it has a lot of people curious. We hope it was filled with sunshine. So a lot of people are thinking Super Mario Sunshine could be coming to the Nintendo Switch via a remaster. Now honestly, at first I wasn't really on board with this because obviously this tweet is just a simple tweet, but the more I thought about it, the more maybe there is potential for this. Let's take a look at The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Switch. We of course had The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at the launch of the system, and now we're getting The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening being remade for the Nintendo Switch. Now this game was obviously a Game Boy game that was pretty much regulated to the Game Boy, much like Metroid 2 was with on the Game Boy as well, which of course was then brought over to the 3DS. So obviously Nintendo isn't against remastering their old games. It looks like it's something that they're actually actively doing and actively more interested in when it comes to their back catalog of games. Now Super Mario Sunshine is a very good game. I am admittedly not the biggest fan of it in the world. I think that Super Mario Galaxy should have been the GameCube game, and then Super Mario Sunshine should have been the first game on the Wii, followed by Super Mario Galaxy 2. But that's just my personal preference. I know there are a lot of people out there that really love Super Mario Sunshine. And honestly, if I had to pick a game that should be remastered for the Nintendo Switch in the Mario lineage, it would either be Super Mario Sunshine or Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins. Personally, I would like to see Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins a bit more, just because I have nostalgia for that game. I absolutely love that game, and I think it could really benefit from being put into a modern style, much like you're seeing with The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. But that doesn't mean I'm against Super Mario Sunshine getting a remaster. So with all of these new SKUs being added to Nintendo's inventory for the Nintendo Switch in GameStop's database, could Super Mario Sunshine be revealed at this upcoming Nintendo Direct? I'm definitely not willing to say yes it will be, but I do think there's a little bit of smoke with this. But of course there's other SKUs involved in this as well, which has a lot of people wondering, well, what are these other games going to be? I'm going to give you guys one of my predictions, and then I'm going to have Mitch, the houseplant, also give you a prediction. The game I would like to see is either an NES or an SNES remix. Obviously, the NES Online service has been paltry to say the least, especially the past few months, but I would love to see some NES or Super Nintendo remix games be available on a cartridge for the Nintendo Switch. The NES Remix series was very, very popular. Like, it was big on the 3DS, it was big on the Wii U. People absolutely loved this game, and then it just sort of went away. It sort of went by the wayside, and we never saw these games again. Like, Nintendo, what are you doing with this? I don't think it's very difficult to make a game in this style. I can't imagine it would take very long. You're essentially just doing ROM hacks on these games, which people do for free in their spare time, and make these huge, robust adventures. Go look on romhacking.net to see all these crazy things that people do with ROM hacks. And obviously Nintendo knows their ROMs probably better than these people do over on romhacking.net. So I would love to see a return to the NES Remix series, or maybe an introduction into the Super Nintendo Remix series, because I think that would be really cool. Now, Mitch, what would you like to see Nintendo do? Where the hell is that Metroid Prime Trilogy HD collection? Alright, Mitch, we don't talk about that game on this channel. Now, obviously, it makes perfect sense for this to happen. There was heavy rumors about it last year. The Spawn cast was pretty much confirmed this was happening, and then nothing ended up happening. So I stopped talking about that because I just didn't think it was going to happen. But it does make sense. With Metroid Prime 4 and some developmental issues, you want people on the Nintendo Switch to be excited about Metroid when Metroid Prime 4 finally comes out. So what better way than to remaster the trilogy of games? Of course, we saw this brought over to the Nintendo Wii U via the Nintendo Wii version of the game, so I think they could do it, and I think it would make sense, but whether or not Nintendo is willing to do it is a completely different story. All in all, I think there will definitely be a Nintendo Direct in the month of September. Do I think that Super Mario Sunshine is going to be at this Nintendo Direct? I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm really not going to pick a side on this yet, because really, you just have one tweet to go on. Obviously, Nintendo is looking at their back catalog of games and remastering these games, and Super Mario Sunshine is a perfect candidate for this, as it is a GameCube exclusive and has never really been talked about ever since. But what do you think? Do you think Super Mario Sunshine could potentially end up on the Nintendo Switch? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, and so that is going to do it for today's video. Like I said, I want to hear your guys' feedback. What do you think of this PS5 dev kit? Why does it have so many fans? Why does it look like it's about to fly away off your desktop and just fly into space? And what do you think about this Nintendo Direct? Do you think Super Mario Sunshine is going to be there? Would you like to see something like NES Remix? Or would you like to see the game that Mitch the Houseplant talked about? And I'm not going to repeat it. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I do want to give you guys a brief heads up on one thing. I will not be on the Spawncast this Saturday. I'm actually going to be going to a family member's birthday party. There's free food and there's free beer, so I mean, of course I'm going to go. So I will not be on the Spawncast this Saturday. I will be on Class vs. Crass on Sunday over on the Hey Jay channel. So if you want to hear me ramble about topics, make sure you tune into that. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.